the most brutal way you've ever seen a teacher humble a student? Every school has that kid. Not the shy one, not the teacher's pet, not the gooner one. I mean the showman. The one who treats every lesson like an open mic night at the local comedy club. In my sophomore year, that kid was Bartholomew. Bartholomew wasn't just a class clown. He was a full-time, unpaid performer. His stage, the back row of our English class. His audience, anyone unfortunate enough to be within earshot. His favorite bit? Making funny comments loud enough for everyone to hear, but juiced, quiet enough that he could pretend he wasn't talking to the teacher. And he loved interrupting. It didn't matter if we were reading Shakespeare or filling out worksheets. Bartholomew would leap in with a bad pun, a fake cough that suspiciously sounded like a swear word, or a dramatic sigh so loud you'd think he'd just been told recess was permanently canceled. Our teacher, Mrs. Walsh, had the patience of a saint. Always calm, never snapping. She'd just say, "Bartholomew, please," and move on. I honestly thought she was unbreakable. I was wrong. One Thursday morning, Mrs. Walsh was explaining how to write persuasive essays. We were all half asleep, sipping contraband iced coffee under our desks, when Bartholomew decided to strike. She's in the middle of a sentence, and that's why your thesis should be clear and direct, when he throws his hand in the air without waiting to be called on. "Mrs. Walsh," he says, smirking, "do you ever write anything interesting, or is it just grading papers and giving boring speeches all day?" The class went, ooh. It wasn't even a clever insult, but it was bold, basically calling her boring to her face. Mrs. Walsh freezes mid-word, slowly caps her marker, turns toward him like she's just remembered she left the oven on, and he's the oven. With a smile, she says, "Interesting, Bartholomew. Since you think you can make class exciting, why don't you teach for the next 10 minutes? The air left the room. You could feel the shift from, "Ha ha, Bartholomew's funny," to, "Oh no, Bartholomew's about to die on stage." But of course, Bartholomew, being Bartholomew, stands up. "Oh, this'll be easy," he says, strutting to the front like he's about to headline a Netflix special. He grabs the marker, turns to the whiteboard, and just stands there. Silence. Mrs. Walsh hands him her notes. "Here's today's lesson plan. You can start with the difference between ethos, pathos, and logos." Bartholomew looks at the paper like it's written in ancient Greek. Yeah. So ethos is like, when you're being ethicky? We're all biting our lips to keep from laughing. One kid actually starts filming. He stammers through one sentence, draws a circle on the board for no reason, then tries to switch topics. "Okay, so instead of that, let's talk about, ninja low taper fade meme." Mrs. Walsh just leans on her desk, smiling like a cat watching a bird figure out it's trapped in a cage. "Keep going," she says sweetly. Bartholomew sweats through 2 more minutes before mumbling, "I think I'm done now." Mrs. Walsh checks the clock. 6 or 7 more minutes, Bartholomew. The groan he let out sounded like he was being forced to read War and Peace aloud. By the time she finally let him sit back down, he looked like he'd aged 3 years. His confidence, gone. His smirk, evaporated. The back row, dead silent. As Bartholomew slumped into his seat, Mrs. Walsh just said one word, "Exactly." The next day, Bartholomew didn't say a single thing in class. Not a joke, not a pun, not even his usual fake coughing. The man was humbled. In fact, for the rest of the semester, anytime someone got too chatty, Mrs. Walsh would glance at Bartholomew and say, "Want to teach for a while?" And that shut them up instantly. It's been years, and I still think about that day. Because sometimes, the most powerful thing a teacher can do is let you feel just how hard their job is. And Bartholomew, he's probably still somewhere trying to remember what ethos means.